Google Analytics 4 has a really cool feature that allows you to debug incoming data. It's called DebugView, and in this video, we'll take a closer look at it. Hey, my name is Julius, and welcome to Analytics Mania YouTube channel, where you can learn Google Tag Manager and Google Analytics. And if you want to stay up to date with Google Analytics 4, consider subscribing to this channel. In the previous version of Google Analytics, we had several options on how to check if the incoming data is properly displayed. We often used real-time reports, but things like e-commerce data was not available there. That's why in many cases we had to wait until the data is processed and then displayed in standard or custom GA reports. Now things are much easier because of the feature called DebugView. It allows you to check the incoming data at a very granular level and make sure that your tracking implementation is working properly. So let's take a look. You can find DebugView in Google Analytics by logging into a GA4 property, and then in the left sidebar scroll down and keep looking for a section that is called DebugView. Then you will see something like this. There is a chance that you will notice some users, but also there's a chance that this report will be completely empty. If you want to start seeing debug data right here, you need to send events to Google Analytics with a certain signal that informs Google Analytics 4 that this data should be displayed in a debug view. And there are several options how you can enable that debug mode signal. In this video, I will focus on examples related to enabling that signal on websites. And in the description of this video, I will also post a link that gives some examples when it comes to enabling debug view in iOS and Android apps. So if you're working with Google Tag Manager and you have installed GA4 with GTM, then the easiest way to enable the debug view is to go to Google Tag Manager and enable the preview mode in Google Tag Manager. Now, keep in mind that Google Tag Manager's preview mode and the debug view in Google Analytics 4, they are two different things. However, when you enable the preview mode in Google Tag Manager by clicking the preview button right here, then entering the URL and clicking start. So when you do this, Google Tag Manager's preview mode adds an additional signal or additional parameter to all the requests that are going to Google Analytics 4. And then you will start seeing some additional data in the preview mode right here. Here's an example of how the incoming data could look in your reports. However, what I've noticed is that there are still some issues with the debug view, and sometimes it just doesn't show all the events. It might show one event, but then for some reason just skip another event. And for now, I haven't found yet a solid solution for that. So I have posted a link to this extension below the video. Install it, and then among your other extensions, you will see this one. Now, if you want to enable this extension, you need to click on it, and then its icon will change to this one. Then when you go to the website, you can refresh the website, and I mean the website where you're actually debugging your GA4 implementation, and then you should expect that the data will eventually appear right here. But also keep in mind that this will not appear in real time. There is still some delay, maybe several seconds. Sometimes I've noticed that there is also almost a minute or maybe even longer delay. Hopefully this is just a temporary issue while the GA4 is still quite new. Maybe this will be fixed in the future, or maybe, I don't know, maybe there are some other fixes. And if I find them, I will update my accompanying blog post about DebugView as well. So if you want to get the most up-to-date information about DebugView, then check the description of this video where you will find a link to my blog post. Another option how you can send the data directly to debug view of Google Analytics 4 is by adding an additional parameter, which is called debug mode. You can add it in the GA config tag that you should be using in all of your other GA4 tags. And you can just click on the tag, go to fields to set, and then enter debug_mode, and then set this to true. This means that all the hits that are sent by using this GA4 configuration tag will be visible in the debug view of Google Analytics 4. So this is one more option. And if you are using a hard-coded G tag code snippets on your website, then there is also a parameter called debug mode, just like it was called in the Google Tag Manager. And you can set it for all the events that are going to fire on that page, or just for a particular event. I will post a link to this page below the video as well. This page also includes some examples related to Android apps and iOS apps. So once you start getting data into your debug view in Google Analytics 4, it's time to dive deeper and see what kind of parameters were sent together with an event. So if you want, for example, to check what kind of information was sent with this page view event, you can just click it, and then you'll see all the parameters that were sent together with that event. If you want, you can expand it and you can see what kind of value was that. You can see session ID, you can see page location, page refer, and you can also check other parameters if you wish. If you are sending some user properties, then you can click here and you will see them here. Unfortunately, at the moment, I don't have any user properties configured in this property. Also, you can click on any of these events and they will work like a quick filter. So for example, let's click on page view and you will see how many times each parameter was sent to Google Analytics 4. So we see that the debug mode parameter was sent twice because there were 2 events. Then you see that there was a page location, a page title, page refer, page location, and so on. And also you can see the timestamps when these particular parameters were received. So for example, if we want, we can take a look at, let's say, page location, and then we can see that the value of that particular parameter and actually all the other parameters at this particular moment were these ones. And then you can take a look at what kind of information was sent with another event. So this allows you to check how the data was changing on a very granular level. So this is very useful for debugging. And if we compare this to the real-time reports of Universal Analytics, this is much more granular, much better for debugging. And even if you send some information like e-commerce data, you will still be able to see that in DebugView. Also, one more thing that you should keep in mind is that there might be multiple devices that have enabled the debug mode of Google Analytics 4. In my case, I'm currently lucky. There is only one device, and this is me. But since people can enable the debug mode just by having this extension installed on a website, this means that you might get a lot of other devices that are unrelated to your debugging. And if this is actually the situation that you are facing, you will need to find your device right here. Here I am on another GA4 property, and in this case I have 4 visitors who are browsing my website, and 2 of them are using Apple devices and 2 of them are using probably Google Chrome. Now this is not very descriptive, and if you have, let's say, 30 visitors who have enabled the debug mode, it might be challenging to find yourself. But we don't have any other choice, and it might require some time from you to keep looking for the right device. So you click one device and then check if you're seeing your events. Then click another device and then go one by one and eventually find yourself in this list. And the final thing that I want to mention is filtering your debug traffic from your normal Google Analytics 4 reports. Eventually, your debug data will land in your normal Google Analytics 4 reports. That is why you need to create filters to exclude debug data. You can do that by going to Admin, then click Data Settings, Data Filters, and you will need to create a filter where you choose Developer Traffic, then add the filter name. So for example, exclude the debug data, and then set this filter to be active. So what happens is that this filter will exclude all the hits from regular reports that contain debug mode or debug event parameter. All of the examples that I displayed in this video of how to enable the debug mode, they were all using this parameter right here. Click Create and Activate Filter.
And that's how DebugView works in Google Analytics 4. It's a very useful feature that allows us to debug at a very granular level. The fact that I no longer have to waste my time waiting while implementing e-commerce tracking is amazing. If you found this video useful, hit the thumbs up button below the video because it helps me continue working on this channel. Also, if you want to learn more about Google Tag Manager and Google Analytics, consider subscribing to this channel. My name is Julius, this is Analytics Mania, and I'll see you in the next video.